Thank you, Numsa. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on where you are. Here in Los Angeles, it's 5 in the morning. I know in the UK, it's in many parts in the Europe, it's in the afternoon. And I have questions for you. Would you love to be able to accomplish anything that you love to accomplish in life with a lot more ease and a lot more fun? It's kind of like the way of the feeling as if you were to be climbing a mountain or a hill, then as if somebody has put a harness on you and pull you up, so to say. That kind of ease where you just been assisted, and to have this type of tools for completely free. Would you love to be able to have that kind of beautifulness in life? If you do, then listen up, and we will share with you one tools that, if you practice on regular, consistent basis, will literally help you be where you would love to be and accomplish where you would love to accomplish with a lot more ease and a lot more fun and a lot more joy. So that is with that. And so think up about what it is then, what you would love to accomplish and what you would love to be, and follow us on.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Bickett. So today we're talking about your favorite subject, which is improve your life and the benefits of gratitude. I know it is basically a subject that you talk about every single day on social media. If you basically follow Dr. Bickett, she's all about gratitude. She's even got you written a gratitude diary, did you as well? And where is it? You have to show our audience, Dr. Bigot. So you can get this diary from Amazon. It's actually saved me money because normally I go through a diary like within 3 months, but this one is gonna last me a year because I write every single day. So it's basically last me for a year. A year, it saved me money. I normally spend like £8 for one diary, but this money is £8 for a year. So I'm so grateful for that. So basically, are you someone out there who basically you're going through challenges and your life is basically covered with darkness and clouds and you feel confused and you don't know what to do in life? And even giving gratitude to life, you are like, there's no point, you've lost hope. So we will be covering all that, how you can actually have gratitude in your life for you to live a healthy life, because life is about purpose, why we are here on earth. And when you know your purpose, no matter what goes on, no matter what comes your way, you'll be able to actually climb the mountains, like Dr. Biggett was saying. So, Dr. Biggett, I'm going to give it to you because you are basically this topic is basically your field. This is what you do every single day. So how can I have gratitude if life doesn't make sense? You're telling me that I should be grateful, but life it doesn't make sense. It seems like God is not there. It seems like the universe is not there. So tell me, how do I go on?
Thank you, Numsa. And it's a brilliant idea. It's a brilliant questions. And a lot of people said, "Oh, I am." I also, in addition to the gratitude journal and that Numsa mentions, and yes, that is one book is for a whole year, 52 point, not just 52.3 weeks, because there are 52.3 weeks in a year, and it's designed such that it is great for adults. It's also great for children. So if you are going to start a gratitude practice with your kids, and it designed in such a way, and at the same time, it's actually funny that you mentioned this. It's something I noticed over time. because I have this as well as I have gratitude group on Facebook. Just look me up, excuse me, and you will see a gratitude on my profile. And I do live gratitude on Sunday on video. But it's a lot easier for children, even as they are facing things, to be grateful on things. You could be kid going through things, and they still grateful for things. They're still thankful. What are you thankful for? And little kid, they can say, oh, I'm still thankful that I have mommy, and I'm still thankful that I have ice cream, even if they are having a tonsil surgery, for instance. And so how do you find things to be grateful when you have things going on in your life that you didn't want? Well, if you are if you are a believer, for instance, you are a Christian and you read scriptures, it says that in there, in the circumstance you are in, you find gratitude. So you find gratitude in every circumstance. And this one was written, I might have got the same name wrong here, but I believe it was when was Paul was in the Roman prison. In there he was able to find gratitude. And Roman prison back in the day will make the modern day prison in most country look like luxury hotel, right? And so in the situations that you are in, you can find gratitude, as well as while in a situation you can still find gratitude. And you do that two things. First of all, if you look, let's say you are going through things right now, a lot of things are very unpleasant. You lost a loved one, and perhaps multitude of other things. This is how I started my gratitude practice back in the day after many losses. Well, what is it that's still grateful? The first, what is it that's still great, that is still good in your life? Perhaps the fact that you have internet, not everybody do. Perhaps the fact that you actually are able to understand things that are spoken, because not everybody could hear, and among many other things. And then there is also gratitude in the situations itself, and that is what possible thing that could you be grateful in the situations. Let's say you have lost a loved one. I have one friend who recently, and this is not to minimize your loss, this is not to minimize your pain, but yeah, a friend who lost a significant other after 35 years. And it was very surprise in a very surprising way, so it was quite a shock. Well, what the person was grateful for in the situation, about the situation itself, that is so tragic like that, then she says, you know what, I'm grateful that I actually have she had this 35 plus year with this person. That's one thing she was grateful. And then the other thing is that she was also grateful that so many people jump in. It was a surprise for her. People that she didn't even think to be as friend, all jumping in and try to help out. She said it was such a beautiful experience in the midst of all the pain. So if you are facing something really dark, then that is two ways that you could be grateful. We'll discuss in a moment on why you want to be grateful, all the benefits for the gratitude. But what about you, Numsa? Have you ever have a situations where things are pretty dark in life, so to say, and you allow yourself to have gratitude? And how did you feel?
Where do you want me to start, Dr. Bigot? Yes, I've had lots of dark places in my life where there was cloud, where things were dark, but I didn't translate it that way. I refuse to actually be defined by problems. All I had to do and look at myself where God has pulled me through it all. I've had to learn to trust in Him. Like you are saying in the Bible, when you read the Bible, you don't go to God and say, God, I've got these problems. You give thanks to Him. You glorify His name. And once you glorify, you give thanks to Him, everything is added to you. So for me, basically, when things are really, really dark, all I have to do is that moment I'm alive, I'm breathing, I open the fridge, there is food. I go to the tap, the water is coming out. I have water, I have food, so I can live, I can keep going. And I thank God that moment that I have food and that I have water, and I do check on myself and I'm still breathing. I'm not saying this as a joke or anything for somebody to say, Nomsa, you're doing it for talk show. This is what I do. When things get tough, I refuse to be defeated by problems. I basically stand, because what happens is when you have a problem, whether it's a healthy problem, is finances, if you have a problem, that problem can be sorted out. Marriages, relationship, it can be sorted out. But what if you drown into those problems? You get into depression, things get worse, and then you damage your health. So that means even if you sort out your problems, you're still gonna have to face your health problems. For me, basically, I refuse it. If I'm good to eat and I'm good to drink, I refuse to be defeated by problems. Finances don't define who Nomsa is. And problems, relationship problems, I'm okay if I'm having problems. I have to find a solution of how to deal with it, because life, it will throw you with something. But there's one thing that I never do. I don't give up on God. I don't give up on praying. When things, even when I don't feel like it, I stand and I pray. When I don't feel like it, is where I need to be closer to God. So all I'm saying is, when you're going through something, you have to be in the present moment. And that's why you've written a gratitude, Dr. Bickett, a gratitude journal. It helps you to journal things that you are grateful of, so that you can go back when things are not going well and you're like, but I'm writing that I'm grateful, so why am I being like this? And go back and read your journal and just be grateful of those little things. If you, like, I'm in the UK here, you will see people that have nothing. Or you go to Africa, you go to all these countries where there's poverty. People, even here in the UK, there are families that are in poverty. You go to them, they are so grateful. They're so grateful that they have a house, they have this, they will tell you the stories, what keeps them going. So what is stopping you do the same? Be in the present moment is very, very important. To say the problems, speak to the problems, speak to the problems and say, okay, problems, I am aware that you are here. Is there anything I can do? Just speak to them like you will speak to a normal person. Speak to your problems. So, Dr. Bickett, as someone who is basically, you basically live for this. So if someone is saying, okay, I can speak to problems, I can have a gratitude, but what do I do if I don't really, if I do, if basically, if I feel that there are some people that feel that life has been stripped away from them. Some of them, they get disappointed by their parents. Some of them get disappointed by their close family or husband or wife. So how do you deal with that kind of situation and go on? How do you go on when your loved ones hurt you, or when you lose a loved one? Oh, what happened, Dr. Biggett? Can't hear you.
to unmute. So it is back to. Did I unmute? Yes, I did. I think it's echoing.
Oh, I need to mute myself.
So it is back to the perceptions, and to be able, as you mentioned there, yes, it is something that might be painful, but it is also, it is up to you on how you are going to look at life, how you are going to say, okay, I want to look at everything and focus on the problem, or and as you say, Numsa, become drowned by the problem, or you want to look at everything and say, okay, let's take things in perceptions here, and proper perspective. A great example is in this area here, in where I live here, we have California fires, the infamous California fires, and sometimes they're very significant fires. They burn for days, and they literally will burn even a large house and everything ground to the ashes. That type of fires. And so a few years back, there is an area here, a very well known famous area full of large $1 million homes, and it burns. This neighborhood just burned down completely. And so the right after the fire, when the ground's still smoldering, the reporters came around, and the reporter says, "Look at one house that's burned down completely." And a couple standing next to them, and they look at them, and this couple was sobbing and crying, and just so miserable. And the reporter said, "Oh my gosh, was this your house? Was this the remain of your house?" This is the remain of your house. Yes, this was the remain of our house. Oh my! And then the reporter said, "Oh my dear." And they're like, "Yeah, oh my God." They're holding on to each other. They're like, "We lost everything. All of us lost everything. We have nothing else in our life, and just nothing. We have nothing else. This was everything. Oh my goodness. Oh my God. Oh, so poor us. It's just, we have lost literally everything. This house, it was a beautiful house. We lost everything." And the reporter said, "Oh my goodness, so sorry to hear." And I was watching this, and I said, "Oh my goodness, so sad. They lost everything." Oh my heart goes to them. Reporters goes around the corner, literally, into another house that's also burned to the ground, only smoldering ashes. There's a couple there together, and both of these couple, by also by they're the same thing, a couple together. And the reporter come by and say, "Oh my God, this was your house?" And they said, "Yes, this was our house." And the reporter says, "Oh my God, so sorry that you've lost everything." And the couple look at the reporter, say, "We lost everything?" "Yeah, weren't this your house? It's burned to the ground. It's moldering ashes." And they said, "Well, we lost our house and all the belonging in the house, but we still have each other. And we're still standing here, and we're still alive, and we're still breathing. And the air is smoky, but we're breathing." And so, yes, it's really, really sad, but we're going to rebuild. We could rebuild. I mean, we have our health, we have each other, our children is actually somewhere else. And so we have each other. And this was really, really sad. Imagine that. Exact same situation. So what perspective do you want to take with your own circumstance? Circumstance is just that, circumstance. If you hear the word, like the word circumference, that's mean a circle. And the same thing, when you have a circumstance, when you have a situation, it's a circumstance. If you follow me on Facebook closely, you will notice that many times when things going on, including this recent past week, actually. I was supposed to be in Portugal, and then things happened that make me could not go. I choose to fall it for love and for family to stay here and did not go to Portugal. So there are circumstances, and circumstance is a circumference. It's a circle. There is a start, and you can go walk around the circle, and you pass through the situation. So what will you want to look at the circumstance? Do you want to say, I have lost everything, but you are still having clothes on you? Now, this is not to be a Pollyanna, and there is a difference between Pollyanna and say, "Oh, I'm gonna just pretend everything good." That's not it. This is called something called chosen optimism. I don't know if you ever hear this word, Numsa, and I could not remember which UN general actually who coined in the term, but it is something called chosen optimism, where you actually look at the circumstance, you notice all the things that's not so great, and has opportunity of improvement, but you also actually see where improvement can be done and choose to focus on that.
Fire, the response for the fire, two different people seeing life in in different views and having different perspective about life and what they have lost. And I think I agree with both couples. That's how they see life. You can't make them wrong, but the ones that were like, we have not lost everything, because at the end of the day, their house is burned down, and if they didn't have children, it's like dying. When you die, you leave everything behind. You don't take your favorite car, you don't take your big house, your big cars. You leave everything behind. Maybe someone else start fighting for it as well. So I'm glad that these couples, they find something to hold on to, which was them and being having each other. I did the same during lockdown as well. When we were moving out of the house, we had a house last minute. And we had a house basically to move into, and last minute they changed their mind. They were like, no. So people change their mind, they're allowed to change their mind. So you think, oh, the process is going through, I'm gonna move in. But then the situation were like, and then it is where we lived, people had to exchange, they had to move, they wanted to move in. But I had a choice with my family to say, actually, I'm not gonna move out until I found my own accommodation, and for them to have not to have a home, because the way they were, they wanted the house. So I had that choice, but then I was like, oh, my father-in-law lives on his own. So I said to the family, let's go and live with our father-in-law. Your granddad, if he says yes. And I asked him, he said, yes, come and stay with us until you find your own place. And for me, basically, and my spouse looked at me like, you was like, no, I don't think so. And I was like, yes. And I explained to them that life, sometimes we don't get what we want, we get what we can tolerate. And I did understand the situation where we had freedom in the house. If you want to disappear, no one finds you in the house, you can disappear and be on your own. If you want to go out and stay in the garage, you can go out and go to the gym in the house, no one will find you. But we lost that. So I felt that don't want to go through all this hassle. Someone start saying, okay, and stop just putting people through. If I had the opportunity, I just took my things to the storage and I was like, move into the house. So we gave up the house. We are still looking for the house. We found the house now. We're doing the paperwork, waiting for to sign the document. But it is just the process of looking at your life. I look at my life myself and I'm like, material don't matter to me, because this is not what I'm gonna take. When my day, when God says, Nomsa, come to heaven, I'm not going to take my favorite house. I'm not going to take my favorite car. I'm not going to take my favorite makeup, my favorite high heels. I'm just going to go as a soul. My soul will go and my body is going to be buried. So all I have to do is to protect my soul. That's how I see life, that I protect my soul so my soul is not wounded. My soul is cleanse my soul and my spirit. That's all I can do. Anything else that comes up, the business comes, things don't go my way, like during lockdown. Business were not going well. And this is what kept me going. That God, I know my purpose. I'm gonna continue doing what I've got to do. But I'm not gonna sit there and I'm not gonna sit there and wine. And I remember basically sitting on the stairs and I was like, does money define me who I am? I'm looking at money. Money is not coming in as it used to be. So I was like, no, money doesn't define me. I cannot label myself because of how much money I have. So I can label myself with my soul and my spirit. I need strength. And I had to pray to God and say, God, give me strength. That's all I need. Right now, I need strength. I need you to love me, and I need you to show me who Nomsa is so I can have strength and do what I got to do and live in the present moment. Is it a hard thing to do? It is very hard. I don't want to lie to you. It is a very hard to actually be in the present moment when life is throwing you with something that you didn't order. When the postman comes in and tells you that you owe this person or your health is no good. The doctors tell you some bad news about your health. It's not something that I can say is easy, but you know what? If you believe in the Bible, you believe in the God of Elijah that I believe in, you will have no problem in conquering whatever the situation, in having gratitude when it comes to life. Because when it comes to life, we have to be grateful, because what happens is we are talking, me and Dr. Biget, but we don't know the tomorrow. We only know today that we don't even know what's going to happen tonight. Like I'm in the UK, it's afternoon, and Dr. Biget, you are, is it California? And it's in the morning, and we don't know what the day is gonna be like, but God already knows. We don't know what's behind the curtains. Can you imagine if one problem can just stop you opening that door of opportunity? It is not easy. I'm not saying it's easy. All I'm saying is, like Dr. Bigero was saying, I don't need to say anything like what she was saying about two couples. Their response defined who they were. Your response would take you to where you need to be, and it would define your purpose, how you respond to problems. If you respond to pain with pain, then you can't get to where you need to go. If somebody brings a problem to you and you respond the same way, you can't get to where you need to go. So for me, basically, that's why I always say you need to know when you are speaking to God, you need to know how God works. You're speaking to the universe, you need to know how the universe works so you can have gratitude. So you can speak to God and you can speak to the universe and get help that you need, because you will get help only if you ask. Ask in my name, everything will be given to you. So Dr. Biget, and so for me, basically, I know we're talking about it. We're talking about the gratitude, and we're talking about journaling and everything. So someone who is not into personal development and who doesn't understand the power of gratitude, how do they begin?
So let's say you're not familiar with the personal development, and also I came with a science. So in other words, you let's say you said, you know what, this God and this Bible thing is good. It's good for you, and it's not for me. Understandable. That's perfectly fine. but also as you first of all, the gratitude literally is as if you're looking at a ball here, right? This is the beach ball. I'm in California, so we have beach ball all over the place, particularly this time of the year. So are you going to choose to look at gratitude literally is just the way on looking at things in a way that beneficial for you. So when you have a circumstance, life is like this beach ball here. It's round, as you can see. And so, like you said, Numsa, if it is the pandemic and you are losing your home, are you going to look at everything and believe that everything is depressing here? Like everything is in front of you is blue on the part of the beach ball, are you choosing to look just at that? Or perhaps some people get angry when things are out of control, so are you going to say everything is red here? Or are you going to say, well, this is actually an opportunity, a beautiful opportunity. Grandpa live alone, he is old, imagine that. I mean, he is it's the pandemic time and you are and an old person's being alone, and now, what if he needed things? So, if you're going to be living with him, well, that's a beautiful time to allow family to come together rather than alone. It's we know being completely alone is not good for human beings. So now he has somebody with him to keep him company, and then it's also an opportunity for you to save up on money, perhaps, right? And so, how are you going to see that? But also, let's say you say, okay, well, so why do we want to do gratitude? Talking about people with illness, you mentioned briefly. But if you have illness? Well, gratitude is one of the things that can help you with your illness. I'm not saying stop going to doctor and doing whatever that the doctor is recommending you to do, and at the same time you want to do that and to have gratitude. Why? Because the science that's your gratitude, even if you're not into personal development, even if you're not into scripture, this is called the vibrational energy chart by Dr. David Hawkins. Dr. David Hawkins is a psychiatrist, an MD, a medical doctor who did research, and in his vibrational energy charts here, in his he says that so everything in this universe is vibrating. You are vibrating. If you look at cells at the ultramolecular level, and I am by training, I am in science. I am a doctor. If you look at everything at the ultramolecular level, everything is vibrating. The super microscope can see this. Your naked eyes cannot see that, and even regular microscope can see that. But everything is vibrating at a different energy. You are vibrating. The clothes you're wearing vibrating, the phone or whatever device you were watching these things vibrating. The waves, the sound waves that allow you to be able to hear this, as well as the electrical waves that allow you to be able to see us, these are all vibrating at a different level. And so everything in the universe is vibrating. Now, our feelings, our emotion also vibrating, and different emotions. Dr. David Hawkins, and since then he coined this down. But before him and after him, and nowadays it's what the most famous, most of the work come from the HeartMath Institute. And from all these people, they shows that our emotions has 5 different level of vibrations. So let's say you have guilt, right? Or grief, or perhaps you have shame or apathy. Apathy is kind of like you're like, life just sucks and I'm just going to be, blah. Or you have shame or guilt, or you have fear. Where those emotions live? Down here. They live down here where its color is red. And then even if you are angry, you are down here. Where does the universe, where does good health, where are when things flow? Like if you look at the tree, and the tree is growing and the tree is blooming, where are they vibrating? Way up here. At the vibrations of love, as the vibrations of joy. Now, where does and the vibration, the highest vibration here is peace and enlightenment. So you got love, joy, peace, enlightenment. So these are all high up here. This is where universe, life, when you see something growing, whether it's an animal, whether you see there is beautiful clouds, this is where they're moving in vibrations of love, of joy, of peace, and then the highest vibrations being enlightenment. Well, so where is gratitude? Gratitude live up here. When you express gratitude, when you feel gratitude, when you actually say, I feel grateful, and you mean it, you're not just like saying it, but you actually meaning it. When you write it down and say it, it's actually living up here. It is way up here where it is where at the level of love, of joy. Gratitude has a power. Gratitude sits somewhere between joy and peace here. So what's that mean? If you are down here, you're feeling grief, you're feeling guilt, you're feeling a lot of things, and then you express gratitude, it will take you up here very easily. It works almost like a control, one of those, I think it's called control, that will pull a pulley that will pull you up like that, actually, very easily, and allow you to be in a much better vibrations. In my other book, Seeking Peace, the proven five fingers method to thrive through change, I think you have this as well, Numsa. In this book, it talk on couple different places about gratitude, in particular about an old man who, as a young person, he actually had cancer, and the gratitude helped him along with his treatment to recover from cancers. I used to have so many health problems, it wasn't even funny. I have anything from depressions to heart conditions to multitude of other things. It's like every other part of my body was not in the best shape, mentally and physically and all these things, and I was only in my 30s. Imagine that. And I was like, dang, life sucks and all these other things. And I practically was a different person. And then one day, life happens where all the misery that seems to that can happen in life can happen in 2 years. You name it, you name a loss, and I practically experienced that in that 2 years. And so it was interesting. I resourced to gratitude as well as taking action in other part of life, and now I have such a great health that my doctor's jealous. So that is how, if you ask me, Numsa, on how, if you look at things differently, and how, why your gratitude would help. For me, coming from science, that is the reasons for gratitude.
Agree with you, Dr. Biggett. For me, basically, like when you say you have to be, like when you show us that beach ball, basically it shows you that we have different emotions, and we can choose our emotions. We can choose how we respond to every situation in life. I love that, and all about the universe, and God is all about vibration and vibration. And I know, I do understand that there are some people that don't believe in God. You have to have something that you believe in. If you don't believe in God, what do you believe in? Because that's when you have problems, that's when you're gonna have to ask yourself, what do I believe in? Who gives you comfort when you are down? Because if you depend on the flesh, a human being will always let you down. So who do you depend on? So if you are depending on people, people sometimes they don't have time for you, or they do have time, but when you need them, they are not. They're there, but they're busy having their own problems. So you have to know who you believe in. You honestly, you have to. I basically, before I used to depend on people, but now I do understand. I've trained myself to love people unconditional, because sometimes when you don't get, your expectations are not met, you're gonna be angry with everybody. But what we need to understand is that we're all human, and our needs are different. And when those needs are not met, and you're gonna get angry with people for no reason. So you have to, like that beach ball, I think is the best way to actually look at it and you know what, and choose and say, which color am I going to be to respond now? Right now, I'm having problems. How am I gonna respond? So I think it is a very very good thing. My when my relationship fell apart, my spouse said to me, Nomsa, you don't take life very serious. And I said to him, tell me one thing that I need to do when we are having problems like you find that you're having finances, you have these finances, you have problem with finances, you have problems with something, but your health is good. So tell me something. I asked him, I was like, tell me something. How do you want me to respond? And he was like, you don't take life serious. I was like, no, it's how you respond yourself. I was raised to have this gratitude, even when life does not make sense. I was raised in Africa by my grandparents. When my parents were working, my grandparents will pick me from school, or sometimes I walk from school, and my grandmother will be telling me the things that she's grateful of, the things that she's grateful of, and she tells me that, Nomsa, um, when I got married to your grandfather, I got told I couldn't have children, but there was hope. I knew that I could have children. I knew and I believed it, and I had your dad, and I called him witness as a witness that doctors don't have to label me as someone who can't have children. She was like, I had this hope in me. I knew that I could have my children, and then I had my son. And she was teaching me basically to have hope even when life it doesn't make sense. So I said to my spouse, and he couldn't understand it at the time, because to him, and I was like, look, we have a big house. We can drive through. People when they come in, when they pass through our house, they stop just to view the house, how beautiful it is outside the garden. We have someone coming here doing everything and looking after the garden. Then the small problems comes, you want me to go under the pillow? And I was like, I'm not that person. I can't. I have to smile. Even if there is nothing to smile, but there is to me is God. I just have to, like your book, when you say seeking peace, you have to find something to seek peace within yourself. Find peace within you. Once you find peace within you, nothing else can touch you, not even the bills, not even anything, financial problems, not even any marriage problems. You'll be okay when those problems come. My spouse, my ex could not understand it until we split up. And then one day he said, Nomsa, I get you now. And I said, what are you getting? And he was like, I get you now. You don't quit. You never quit. You have an attitude of you don't quit in life. I was like, yeah, I don't have to take life very serious. I have to be grateful. Why he couldn't understand was uh, why am I basically feeling sorry for myself when we have little problems? I should feel sorry for myself. I should be basically talking to everyone about it, and I'll be like, no, I'm not doing that, or I'm not gonna. It's just look at the life, because he worked, I worked, and you look at the life that you have, and you're basically, when I looked at the life that I had, I was so grateful to God that I left Africa and I came to United Kingdom. Some people don't get to make it, but I did make it, and I have this beautiful life. And when comes problems, then I have to forget God, what he's done for me. I was like, no, I am not doing that. So now he understands. He basically implementing what it things that I was doing in his own life. He is basically doing that, Dr. Biget, implementing everything, not taking life very, very serious, because problems will come all the time that you face this problem and you go and sort it out. And then you have another clients, they are screaming, they are doing this. You sort the clients, it will be your child doing this, screaming and doing all sorts, like going through something. So you have to be grateful. Find something that gives you hope, that gives you strength, gives you peace, and just hold on to it. It could be a song, it could be God, it could be universe, it could be Dr. Biget. That when you talk about Dr. Biget, put down the phone, you say, "This woman gets me." You talk to her, you're grieving, you talk to Dr. Biget, you tell her about all your issues. She gives you that advice, and then you go and implement it. And when you have problems, you're like, "I'm going to get in touch with Dr. Biget." Find something to hold on to. It could be a person that is a champion. It could be God. For me, basically, is God and God is angel. People, I don't call them people. I call them God is angel because angels, because God connects me with people that it would basically help me with whatever I'm going through. They might say one word that will give me words of comfort. I come here at Ngozi talk shows, different speakers. They say something, I'm like, I never look at life that way. So I'm just gonna use that as an advice and look at life that way. So just so Dr. Bigot, right now we've said all this, like if someone who is watching this video and they want to basically they don't believe in God, they don't believe in the universe, and they are not into personal development, and is there anything you can suggest? I know me, I can suggest to get your journal on Amazon and get your journal. I can suggest your book as well, Seeking Peace. It's very, very important to seek peace. And I can suggest to have the man buy the book of a man that helped me in my life, which is the Bible. I can suggest all those things, but what do you suggest if someone is really, really going through something and they're not in all these things, what we're talking about? What advice can you give them?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's say you don't believe in God. That is one thing, and you also, for some reason, don't believe in science because this is not the Bible. This is science, and now we have things still are being studied, continue more and more. But this is an absolute science. So that I being being a in science, I know people who does not care about believing in God. This is science. So do you not believe in science as well? Now, let's say you said, you know what, I don't believe, or and perhaps you actually do. Perhaps you actually do believe in God and believe in science, but you just cannot see you right now as best as you can. Everything is either looking very blue and depressing or very red and just make you angry. Well, it is sometimes when we have things going on in our life, it things drags us down. Things drag us down so much that we can only be sitting here on the bottom of this ball here. But if you ever see people climbing mountain and you feel like there is a mountain of misery in front of you, and you've seen ever watched mountain climber, most people, practically everybody who truly climb mountain, never do it alone. You might do, you might see, I'm not talking about just rock climbing in the gym kind of practice, but a true mountain. You want to climb Mount Kilimanjaro, you want to climb Mount Everest, you want to climb Mount St. Helen in here. People do not do them alone. And so, what's that mean? To have support. to have expert support. And now, if you got to climb a mountain and you never in your whole life climb such mountain, but if you say you have done something else different, easier, then having an expert support such that somebody who knows where to throw the I don't even know the term, but that's the big hook that hold on to the boulder, and how to hold to manipulate the rope and things like that, so you don't end up both falling down get deeper in trouble, so to say. And now have somebody who has walked the path, who has been through the whatever going on in life. Let's say you're going on through divorce, and somebody who has been through divorce, and it could be myself, it could be somebody else's. And if it's somebody who has lost a loved one, and the same thing, there are people who has been through what you have, and also who not only been there but discover the way out, who has professional training. Just like if you are, yeah, it's your life, and if you're facing thing in life, it's your life. Then, yeah, would you want to climb a mountain in the thunderstorm and rain? Sometimes that's how it feels, isn't it? It feels as if you got to climb a mountain in the midst of thunderstorm and rain. Would you want to do that with your buddy who's never climbed a mountain in his or her life either? And you kind of like, there is a term, the blind leading the blind, and you can end up in unpleasant places. Or would you say, okay, well, I'm going to climb the mountain in the storm here. Let me get a professional. Let me get a professionals to help me climb and walk through and move through the storm or walk through the fire. And sometimes it feels like you're climbing a mountain that, well, first it was a storm, and then it was a fire, and then there is a big old dragon waiting for you but at the top. But what about if you allow professional, and in NUMSA, with NUMSA's, I've known you, NUMSA, I know with you and with myself, we allow people to support us. Notice there is nobody, not a single person who become an Olympic athlete do it alone. Every single Olympian has a contingent of coaches. They have coach that has for the, let's say Michael Phelps, or a swimmer. They have a swimming coach. There is a muscle coach, a nutrition coach, and you name it. There's a long list of coach. Nobody become a specialist in medicine. Now you have medical school that train everybody, but if you really want to say, you say, even if you're not facing challenges right now and you just want to improve your life to the next level, this is like medical school. You can have medical degree, but if you want to improve you to the next level where you become specialist, you require to have multiple mentor, multiple support. One mentor for, like, I'm a board certified I'm board certified in oncology. One mentor for oncology, one mentor for this, one mentor for that. By definitions, the program has to have three people surrounding you at all times. Why? Because nobody do it alone. Even if you believe in the Bible, and even if you believe in the science and everything, if you are going through things, or you are serious about improving your life, then allow support, because not only it will make it much more likely to happen, like if you were to be just like the way once training in medical school, but also it's a whole lot easier. The gratitude will work as a pulley that pull you anywhere from down here where you are, where you might be angry, where you kind of even desire here. Let's say you like passionate, you're passionate about thing, you're like, I'm gonna do this. But guess what? When you have gratitude, it will work like a pulley that allows you to do everything with a lot more ease and fun and joy. And if you are facing tough times, the gratitude will help you. But until you can do it on a consistent, regular basis and become a professional practically by then you want to allow some support to make it even easier and be your accountability partner.
Thank you so much, Dr. Biggett. I wouldn't want to climb a mountain with someone who has never climbed it before. So I wouldn't want to do that. So thank you so much for that. And like Dr. Biggett said, if you really, really want to change your life, you want to learn how to use your gratitude as a weapon to get to where you need to be, because life will throw you with the things that you didn't ask for. So you need to have a weapon to use to be to get to where you need to go. Even if those people who believe in God, sometimes they give up because they're doing it for the sake of it's in the Bible, but it's not something that they've made a choice in their mind that I'm gonna use this as a weapon even if things are not going my way. So please get in touch at Ngozi Talk Shows. Dr. Biggett, she's a grieving coach and gratitude. You can follow her on social media, Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn. She basically posts about gratitude every single day. It's not something that she talks, she does action, she takes action about it. So please do. And we are here at Ngozi Talk Shows Monday to Friday, 1 p.m. UK time. And Dr. Biggett, do you have any words of encouragement to someone that might be basically in a dark place right now? What would you like to leave for them?
Yes, definitely. And my word of encouragement is that it might feel that like you are alone, but you are not alone. You are not alone. And at the same time, if you, let's say, you feel that everything's falling apart and all you do is go hide under the blanket, we might not know that you needed help. So you are not alone. And at the same time, it is up to you to reach out and allow support.
Thank you so much, Dr. Biggett. You're not alone. You have a choice how you respond to your situation. And God bless everyone. Live with grace. We'll see you tomorrow.